All right, awesome. We are rocking and rolling.
Where are you guys out of curiosity?
We are in New York City. We're actually, we have 5 floors in the Empire State Building.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, and where am I speaking to you guys from?
The 4 of us are in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Very cool. And I think Ed was working from home today.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right. Now, Cassandra and John, maybe you guys can give me a little heads up. Was there anything in particular you did want me to cover today in terms of LinkedIn.com or leveraging your profile? Any specific questions or things we did really want to cover, or is it more just kind of about getting that, high-level overview of really leveraging profiles and taking advantage of .com?
I'm fine with the high-level overview. I don't know if Kathy has something in particular or Jessica even.
No, that was definitely just getting out of it what you can give to us.
All right, awesome. So, like I said, I'll kind of walk you through it, just sort of ways to leverage your own profile, ways that you can leverage the company, and then even ways that you can kind of engage with LinkedIn.com, right? Because people hear about rocking your profile, and they think, all right, I got to make sure my most up-to-date job is on there, and that's it, right? There's more to it. There's more to LinkedIn.com than just putting your experience, and there's a lot of ways to really leverage it. One thing I always like to start these conversations off with, it starts with you guys, right? It starts with HR, it starts with marketing, it kind of starts from the top down. Something we always talk about when organizations are trying to really encourage their employees to engage on LinkedIn is having that buy-in, right? The ability to have it come from the top down and trickle down so that if you guys are bleeding LinkedIn, it makes it a lot easier for employees to bleed LinkedIn. The other thing I always like to kind of start this off with is, obviously this is going to be helpful for how your current employees can leverage LinkedIn, but something I always like to have people kind of think about, especially I know there's people here that do training specifically. I come from actually an L&D and a training background as well. So thinking about onboarding new people into the organization, right, and how important and how influential that time period is. Something I always recommend to people that are engaging in the conversations we're having today, right? You're initiating this idea that, okay, employer branding and individual branding is important, and we want our employees to acknowledge and recognize that. Something I find clients have a lot of success doing is almost like a rock your profile starters kit. So I'm going to send you guys materials when we're through here today on how you can individually continue to engage and improve your own LinkedIn profiles. Something to think about is sending it out as like a new hire starter kit, almost sort of orientation type thing when people are first coming into the organization. So you send them out and say, hey, welcome to ScentAir. Here's some things to think about as you're getting acclimated to the organization. Check out our company page on LinkedIn, see what type of things we're hiring for, what type of initiatives we're running. Make sure to follow our company page, right? Make sure you switch your LinkedIn profile to say you work here, and then even include one of the workshops or one of the tip sheets that I'm going to send to you guys so that they can start to do some work on their own, make sure they are leveraging LinkedIn.com and really becoming a brand ambassador for you guys, right? Because every employee you have, every new person you hire is one new person that's going to, live and breathe, so to speak, ScentAir, right? No pun intended there. So just having something to think about. I know, Ed, you said you do training. I know a couple other people were marketing and training, things to think about. Really hitting it early on in someone's career or someone's time at ScentAir. Hey, LinkedIn's important to us. We have a nice presence. I want you guys to be engaged and really follow through that presence as well and sending that message from the top down. All
Great.
right, so,
hey, Matt, can I just add in one quick thought to you, just whether we cover it today or maybe it becomes another topic following this one?
Absolutely.
That we think could really, so agree with everything you said and appreciate you sending it over, and we'd love to use that. And I think that's a great first step on the training side. In one additional thought is we think there's a lot of value in, I won't say so much lead identification, but we think LinkedIn, because we're very targeted in who we're trying to connect with on the sales side, so we usually know, we don't need it necessarily for lead generation per se, but we usually know, hey, we're looking for the regional manager or regional vice president at XYZ company. So we feel like identifying these key people, there's some real ability in our sales process to leverage it. So I just wanted to throw that out there, as we're probably not scratching the surface with that kind of stuff. So again, if that's covered in this call, great, or maybe it's even something, subsequent that Jessica and I maybe jump on with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of what we're going into today, really going off of what I was just alluding to, right? Sort of leveraging their profiles, making sure they're built out will be more of the focus for today.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, quote, and again, I don't want to use the phrase lead generation, but in terms of that, right, that kind of sales networking, let's call it, or social selling,
Yeah.
that's what LinkedIn refers to it as. So I'd be happy to take it offline with you guys on a later call. The other thing that might be worth it is that we actually do have a product called Sales Navigator. I'd be happy to set you up with one of our sales development reps that can kind of demo it for you if that was something you guys were interested in. It's for exactly that. I mean, there's a lead accelerator program, but Sales Navigator aims more for the line is turning cold calls into warm leads. So really leveraging not only your connections, but anyone within the sales force, their connections, and utilizing that to be able to find the right people to talk to.
Oh, perfect. That'd be great.
So you know what? Yeah, so Ed, I'll follow up, and that was you, Ed, right?
It sure was.
Awesome. So why don't I follow up with an email with you afterwards, and you and I can either set up some time to take it offline, or I can even set you up directly with a sales representative from Sales Solutions who would have a better time giving you a demo.
Cool, and I promise I won't take us off track anymore during this call.
No, it's all relevant. It really does all kind of fall under the same umbrella, right? Even though it's not directly what I work with, right? So just to give you a background, sales,
Sure.
Claire and I work with talent solutions, right? So things directed towards bringing in top talent. But the beauty of LinkedIn, right? It really does combine those initiatives, whether it's hire, market, sell, or 3 lines of business, and LinkedIn really is the ideal vehicle for all 3 of those. So while we're going to talk about ways to leverage this in terms of your brand, right, that does hit on HR, that hits on marketing, and truth be told, when it comes to selling down the road, it really does hit on sales and training, right? So it really does become that arena for everything. It really ties it all together.
Great.
All right, terrific. So the profiles I was looking at that I wanted to get started with that are excellent, John and Cassandra, love it, right? I love the fact that you guys have the banner photo in the background, matching banner photos, I might add. You've got the really nice headshots that it looks like you guys might have taken them on the same day there. But I love it. I love the consistency. I love that it has personality, right? John's not taking, it's not just a quick little headshot or anything like that. Cassandra's got the now hiring, message. So, the first thing that screams out to me is like personality, right? So when you're putting together a LinkedIn profile, you want to think about how someone's going to perceive your digital impression, right? A digital impression at this point is almost more important than your actual human life impression, because more often than not, all the times you're interacting with people, it's online. So what they think of you and what they think of your online personality is super important, especially when it comes to HR and marketing initiatives. So I love that there's just colors, right? It's vibrant. It doesn't just sort of sit here and you're like, all right, this is what she does, this is what John does, they're at this company, they got this experience. There's a story here, right? They're passionate about ScentAir, and I know that right away just because I've got the background of ScentAir. They've got explanations about what it's like to work at ScentAir. Obviously, the ScentAir page is great. It's built out as well, so people can click right on there and see what their organization's all about. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yep. But again, so I love the personal picture, right? I'll bring up my profile just because the one thing, and I've got some work to do on mine, but the one thing I do think I've succeeded with is combining personality and professionalism in my picture, right? I like to have fun. I, go out and have a good time, but at the same time, when we're here at 9 to 5, it's business, right? So LinkedIn, I think, is that really good opportunity to kind of intertwine your personality with your professional background. So I've got the magic hat, the little LinkedIn logo, and again, similar.
Your profile picture. We're still looking
it's not.
Cassandra's. There you go.
There we go. You can see that?
Yes.
So, again, we had a little thing here one time when they're like, hey, come take your profile pictures, and here's some, magic hats and little props you can play with. And so any opportunity, again, to kind of show some personality, I thought was fun. And then it actually aligns really nicely with my headline, right? The other thing I'm pretty proud of on my profile, while I need some work all the way down, is the headline. So innately, it's going to take your current position at your current organization, right? So if we quickly go back to John's here, You can see Human Resources Manager at ScentAir. By all means, absolutely awesome to have it there. You want people to know what you do, especially in HR, when you're going to be interacting with a lot of people. You'll notice Cassandra's looks a little more like mine, right? Scent Matchmaking Matchmaker. I love it. It's got a ring to it. It's fun, and it's probably going to lead someone, when they see just that, to actually click in your profile, right? They're going to want to read more. So that's what I encourage you to think about when you're putting together that headline, right? So again, it's innately, its default is to take your current position at your current role, but you saw, where was I? If I'm just editing, I can edit that to be completely different. So it can be, again, just, I always like those verbs, any sort of ing you're doing, helping, encouraging, creating, learning, innovating, investing, so many great ing words that can really just tailor to what you do best and a little bit about your personality, and then actually walk someone right into either your picture or further down your summary, right? So Cassandra talks about Scent Matchmaking Matchmaker, gets right into thanking people for looking at her profile, and then right into her experience in Recruiter, right? She's the matchmaking matchmaker. If you need to recruit, if you need to find top talent, this is where you come. You come to Cassandra. That's what her background is in, and does a really nice job of explaining that. And then I actually like the breakdown of the specialties here, right? Recruitment, corporate recruiting, different types of things that she has a lot of experience in. Right now, Cassandra is hopefully not looking for a job, but if she were, recruiters could find her very easily. They could know exactly what her experience is in, but even more so what her specialties are, what her personality is like. So just a really nice built-out profile with, again, with colors, experience, and everything all the way down. All right. So a lot of times people will encourage you, and I love this, Cassandra, paragraphs. So it's totally up to you. I noticed some points, bullet points rather, and some are in paragraphs. It's totally up to you. Mine I did in bullet points. Oftentimes people will encourage you to not have the bullet points so that it's a little different from your classic resume. Again, it's really circumstance. It's however you guys would want to display the information. Sometimes it's just easier to read when it's done in bullet points, so it's totally up to you. But having all that information on there, the more the merrier, right? It's just nice to have that info so people can, again, not just learn about your experience, but really what you did and what you did to contribute to these different experiences. Now, the thing down here that I love that both John and Cassandra had already set up is both the endorsements, right, the skills, so that people can really identify how they can leverage, right? LinkedIn's all about leverage. What we're kind of getting into is how your employees can leverage the site, right? For you guys, whether it's B2B, whether it's B2C, or just to your own employees, them being able to understand what you're good at and what they can leverage, right, how they can leverage you is super important on LinkedIn. So I love the endorsements, having your skills endorsed. I also really like having the groups, right? So as HR employees, you can all think about the individuals that we're speaking to here that are HR. Think about the fact that you can share jobs to any group you want, right? So if, John and Cassandra are starting to post jobs about for sales, right? Ed can think about as a sales trainer, think about sharing them to sales-focused groups, right? If you're in HR, being in those HR-related groups are going to come in handy. It's a great way to share jobs, share information about the company. Maybe you have a new project going on at ScentAir, something like that. Any update you might want to share, sharing them with groups are a great way to really reach different demographics on LinkedIn. So I highly encourage you guys to all engage with groups. Some are public. Others are going to be private, where you have to request membership. But regardless, I think it's just a nice way to reach unique types of people that you wouldn't otherwise reach. All right, and this kind of falls under what I was alluding to earlier, where building out your profile, having up-to-date content there is super important. But following groups, following companies, right? So I encourage you, if you're not already following your own company, to definitely do that, and encourage your employees to do the same, right? It's tough for an employee to sit down and really redo their LinkedIn profile because it's just one of those time-consuming things that's hard to prioritize, and B, when an employer is telling somebody to redo their profile, they almost think it's like a trick, right? Like, well, why are they telling me to redo my profile? Am I getting fired? Is something going on, right? But you want to keep the messaging really, really consistent, right? This is for the good of the employee and the employer. It's important for you guys to have employees that are well-credentialed and well-built. Their profiles are well built out. But one way they can really very simply and organically grow their profile is following these influencers, following these companies, and following these groups, right? So even if they're not going to take 3 hours out of a day to go in there and make sure that all their experience since college is completely up to date with perfect spelling and grammar, right, just joining and engaging on LinkedIn can just help your cause, right? Because anytime that they start to click something on LinkedIn, think about what we call engagement, social engagement, whether it's a like, a comment, or a share. So anytime ScentAir says something, or anytime someone in the industry says something that might make sense to share, they can then share that out, have that type of wildfire spread, that viral component that LinkedIn has to offer. So again, simple things like joining groups, following companies, following influencers. Oprah just joined LinkedIn. Hillary Clinton's on LinkedIn, right? So a lot of kind of relevant and fun people where they can expand their knowledge of what's going on in the world, and also expand their knowledge in general just in learning, right? There's a lot of different courses and things like that they can find here as well to further their career and their development. Any questions so far about anything I've gone over here, just in terms of building out the profile or taking advantage of different ways they can engage on LinkedIn?
No, I think we're all set.
All right, cool. Just some stats, right? Having a profile picture is going to get you about 11 times more. You're 11 times more likely to have your profile viewed. So I encourage, if any of you do not have a picture, to make sure you get one of these cool headshots or cool kind of photos that Cassandra and John have. So the first thing, right, whether you're posting jobs or just sharing information, the first thing people click on is your profile. The second is the company page, right? So the other question I had, I think it was you, John, and Cassandra, do you guys work together on the company page and just having these updates go up every once in a while?
No, we've fallen that off on marketing.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's something that if you are able to kind of work together with, again, the company page and posting updates. Go ahead.
I was just going to say some of it is updated from our job listings. I don't know
Right.
if that's part of what you mean or not. But, yeah, we have, I guess, control of that just by posting and updating.
By posting the jobs.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so they
stuff.
come in. Yeah, they come in here whenever you post them automatically. Something you can think about, Cassandra, it might be helpful in working with marketing. You can grab the URL from any job, right? So let's say I just take this regional sales manager in Mountain West. I can actually grab that URL, and if I'm a company admin, I can update the page. And the reason it's a little nicer here, I know it looks like a long URL, is it actually does appear with a thumbnail and a little job description. So rather than just being a small little update like that, if we post it this way, it's a little more formal, comes out a little nicer, and obviously updates all of your 5,600 followers. So encourage you guys, again, even though you have them coming up organically this way, if you're able to either just coordinate with marketing or have them, I'm able to make you guys admins if you want. We just need permission from marketing or whoever the current admins are. But you guys can go in there. So let's actually, I'm curious.
Can you, before you move on to another topic, can you, I don't know if it's behind you or what, but let it catch up to you so we can see what you just did?
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, it's probably
right.
moving. So just to reenact it, I grabbed this URL. You guys see this regional sales manager position?
No, we don't see it yet.
It's frozen.
All right.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
All right, so you see how I'm on the page as if a candidate would view it, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I grab just the URL up top, the really long one.
Yep.
I go back to ScentAir, and I believe John and Ed, I think you guys are both up admins. And then you could just go here. Still following? Are you able to view it?
Not yet. There we go.
All right. So I'm just going to share an update right here at the top, and this is for anybody that has admin rights. Pasting that URL, and then let me know when you see it. You should see it populate a little thumbnail with the ScentAir logo and a little description of the job.
Yep, we're there.
Awesome, cool. So that's, wanted to show you that mechanism of, and again, John, you are an admin, and I think Ed was one as well.
And you said we can do that with jobs that aren't posted on LinkedIn too, just as long as.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, just has to be an active URL. So a great way to, again, just spreading the word about any jobs to those 5,600 followers you guys have.
When you say active URL, does that mean that it has to be like linked to a specific website?
Yep. So the same way that I just grabbed it, the same way I just grabbed the URL from the job specifically, like if you guys are on your ATS or your own career site, whatever it is. So just grabbing that live link, right? Like www.scentair.com/careers/whatever the job is.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, I mean, the company page, great place to, and again, this is all organic. You don't get charged for updates or anything like that. Great place to organically start to tell your story, both HR and marketing, right? Kind of thinking about the fact that 5,600 followers is a ton of followers. They're probably engaged for different reasons, right? Some people might want to know about open opportunities. Some people might want to know about what you guys are doing. Some people might want to just see some industry news, right? They might just be curious about how you're related to what's going on in the greater, overall society. So keeping it kind of fresh with different lines of updates is always advised, right? I saw recently you guys obviously have the job updates, but this is more industry related, which is great. So again, just kind of thinking about ways to engage your follower, your quote unquote talent community, people that have already raised their hand on LinkedIn and said, hey, I want to know more about you guys, so keep the info coming. So just keep in mind kind of switching up those initiatives.
Do you have any thoughts or, I guess, data on how many jobs are too many jobs? Like, do most of the companies post all of theirs on there? You know what I mean?
It's a good question. Honestly, it's up to you guys. I wouldn't recommend having the page be only jobs, right? So when you scroll down, because again the company page is fluid in that it's like a timeline, right? So you're only seeing updates that are coming in as they're being posted. There's no like static page. So I just wouldn't want to come here one day and scroll and only see jobs, right? Like this is a lot. So as long as you guys are working a little bit with marketing to just get some messaging other than talent mixed in there, I don't think that it's necessarily a limit, right? I don't think you have to say, all right, only 10 jobs up at once because we don't have marketing. As long as we're getting some other messaging in there, and again, just kind of keeping in mind all the types of people that might be following the page.
And how do we, and maybe this is something you're going to talk about, but how do we work to get more followers? Is there anything we can do on our end, or?
It's a great question, right? And that was kind of the last thing I was going to tie this all back, right? How to engage people that are not already following the company. A few different ways, right? So the first is engagement, is really just sharing out information and leveraging your employees, right? So if we're not, because there are, traffic drivers that you can buy from LinkedIn, right? So things that, let's say I go to Cassandra's page right now. So instead of having messaging like this, like just an advertisement, you could have something that's called Work With Us advertisements, so that everybody on LinkedIn that says they work for ScentAir would actually have messaging on there that says like grow your career with ScentAir and have my picture or picture yourself at ScentAir. So there's paid ways to kind of drive traffic to the page, but organically, two things we've already hit on today, right? One, consistent updates. So even if it's just once a week or twice a week, having marketing put some sort of update on there, a news article, anything to catch the attention of your followers, because then you want them to share it, right? So the more engaging your content is, the more likely it is to be shared out, and that's how you can eventually get more followers, having it spread through sort of the social media component. There's also sponsored updates. So in terms of, again, talking about another paid way you could do it down the road if we wanted to, sponsored updates essentially have like a piggy bank of, I think the minimum spend is $5,000, and then you can create these updates the same way you would on your company page, but they actually target specifically people who don't follow you. So you work and you go through a list of filters and you say, okay, I want to identify salespeople in the Charlotte area with 3 to 5 years experience who are, in marketing and advertising specifically, right? You can really break it down. There's a bunch of filters, and then target people with those updates that actually go to their timeline. So that's another nice way, again, a paid way, but a nice way to encourage people to follow the page. Organically, right, so increasing the updates, right, just being more engaged with your current followers and then encouraging your employees to share them out. And then the other way, again, is everything we talked about today sort of leads up to it, right? Having employees that have built-out profiles will encourage people to follow the company, because the first thing people click on when they see a profile, the first thing they click on in general is the profile, and then the first thing they'll click on is the company page. So as you guys continue to post jobs, right, since there's no paid traffic drivers routing people to the company page, the best way to route someone to the company page is a job, right? It's a part of your solution that's kind of working its way around LinkedIn. So the more sharing, the more commenting, the more liking that's being done on your jobs and your comment on your and your updates and everything like that, the more likely they are to spread and encourage people to visit the page.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I know we're coming up on a few minutes here, but I'm going to send over an email at the end with a bunch of tip sheets. Some are more rock your profile based, just really, whether you want to send them out to new employees or all existing employees, just about, again, building out their own profile and leveraging it on LinkedIn. Cassandra, I can also send you, I'll just include it to everybody, additional material on leveraging the company page as well, and just sort of kind of employer branding and how we're thinking about that on LinkedIn. So I think that will also be helpful. So so I'll get you guys over a couple different tip sheets and resources that I think will be helpful for what we went over today. And I will also include, I don't know if I'll be able to get it today or it might be tomorrow, a recording. So if there was anyone else you guys felt should hear kind of what we went over and best ways to leverage profiles, you can definitely pass it on. And then, Ed, I'll email you sort of offline just on the side, so that way you and I can set up if we want to get another call on the books or if we want to set you up with someone in Sales Navigator on that team so you can learn a little more about it.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So,
I have a question.
Yep.
Are you able to see any, analytics or traffic information that tells you where a lot of our viewers are coming from?
Absolutely, great question. So if you are an admin of the page, you see there is an analytics tab here. Right, so this does give you some of the information, mostly about your updates and how they're performing. And then it does give you a breakdown of your followers. So the breakdown it gives you here is simply by seniority and how you're comparing to similar types of businesses on LinkedIn. What I can send you guys over, I just got to run through our database a little bit. I can get you more specific demographics into your followers.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. The more you know, the better you can reach out to them, right? So let me definitely get you guys some more demo information. So a few things coming from me then, right? Demographics on the followers, helpful sheets for building out your profile, as well as leveraging the company page. And then I'm also going to sync up with Ed offline. Any other questions or kind of requests or anybody else that did want to take a different conversation offline via email and we can set up another call?
I have one more question.
Shoot, go for it.
I've gotten emails in the past from other LinkedIn managers or whomever is assigned to the company saying, based on your activity, you're one of the most involved from your company. And so I wanted to know if you had that kind of data about our field force here. So is there someone or like our top 5 that are leveraging LinkedIn in a way that you are seeing, just different numbers from the people that are going to their page or what they're sharing so that we could do some best practice sharing from them as well?
Really good question. I'm sure we can. I got to touch base with my team a little bit. That sounds like something marketing's probably getting over to you, but it's definitely, we got more data than we know what to do with. So I've got to imagine we'll be able to find that, and I can definitely get it over to you. I apologize. Who was that with making that request?
Jessica.
Jessica. All right, Jessica, that might take me an extra day or two. I just got to do a little research, but stay tuned because I don't see why I shouldn't be able to get you more of that information. But it's something we always talk about, right? Finding your LinkedIn superstars and having them really show people how to fish, right? Because if it's coming from the top, it means one thing, but even if it's coming from strong performing employees, it can mean even more. So I love that. I'll definitely get you some more information as soon as I can.
Yeah, and to your point, I won't be surprised if they are just a handful of people that all they're doing is just sharing the company-wide updates.
Yep.
Because we want more people to do that, but it still would be interesting data to see.
Absolutely, and that's really all it takes sometimes, right? Like I said, kind of doing the simple things on LinkedIn can go a long way, engaging with their own network and tying them into the company's network, and really kind of being that connective tissue, right? Every one of your employees can be a brand ambassador. It's all about just getting them bought in and engaged.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, I know we are a little over time. I apologize if I took a couple minutes of anyone's afternoon, but I'm going to send over a couple different resources for you. Ed, I'm going to follow up with you as well. Jessica, might be a day or two, but I will definitely find out on some top performers LinkedIn-wise. But then you guys, you have my email address, so if there are any other follow-up questions later this week or someone does want to set up a call, like I said from the start, right, I'm here to really be a resource for you guys, help you out however I can, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Very welcome.
Thanks,
Have a
Matt.
good rest of your day, everybody.
Too.
Take
No
care.
problem. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.